on this rather wet. Let's see. It seems to be dampening YouTube as well, which isn't happening just yet. So bear with me for just one moment. Let us know how you're doing. If you've got any milestones to celebrate, that'd be awesome. If you want to share them with us in the chat, it'll be great to hear from you. Still bear with because I've got a bit of a problem with how things are going or not going on YouTube right now. So, oh, okay. I think I'm pressing the right button now. Carolina Cruz also joining us. Do get those questions in as well, everybody, if you will, straight away, so we don't run out of time later on. Let me just see how YouTube is doing. Not especially well. I had a bit of, I've been having some other technical challenges. I'll tell you what, rather than bore you with all of this technical stuff, let me work on that behind the scenes. And oh, we do have a live stream going out, it would appear. So that's great. So good evening to you and
It's
welcome to
working.
you on
It's
YouTube. That's
working now.
fantastic. Great. Good to know. I'll find that a little bit later on. And I'll say a very good evening to Carolina Cunha from EI, who we know. And you've brought some colleagues with you tonight, I think. So maybe you could say how you're doing, Carolina, and introduce us to your colleagues, if you will.
Hi, hello everyone. So, yes, today I invited a few more. I don't know if all of them have joined already, but from my team, from the visas, the D7 and D8 visas, Marianne Sato with us.
Hi,
Marianne, say
Marianne.
hello.
You can speak as well if you like, Marianne. If you want to unmute, it'd be lovely to hear you too. Okay, he's just working on that.
Oh,
Oh, well,
sorry, my
oh, it's all good.
microphone
Don't
was
worry,
off.
don't worry, don't worry. I think it can be a little bit daunting first time. It's lovely to see you here.
Nice
Thank
to
you
meet
for
you
being here with
all.
us. And muito prazer. Boa noite to you. And where do you work in the organization? Are you Lisbon based?
No, I'm in Porto.
Are you? Okay, so up in Porto,
Yes.
give us a Porto weather check. And any other information people might like about Porto this evening, great to have you. And what sort of things do you do, Marianne? What's your day-to-day like with EI?
So I work in the visa department.
Yes.
Yeah, so, but I also sometimes help the legal department for
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
So I do a bit of both.
Okay.
And, but I focus in the visa department. Yeah.
Excellent. Good to see you again, I should say. So good to see you. Thank you for being here
Really
this
nice to
evening.
see you.
Do you see anybody else from your team here this evening, Carolina?
Well, let me see if oh yes, my Casa Portuguesa
Oh, yeah.
colleagues as well, Ivana.
Yes. Hi, Ivana.
Yes, and also Carolina Muralha.
Oh, yes, of course. Carolina, good to see you. How are you this
Hello, good
evening?
to see you, Carl.
How's it going?
Everything is good, and how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Grumpy with about the weather, but apart from that, all is well here in Portugal, in this part of Portugal. Had a lovely day out today, despite the rain. I went to Lourinhã, where the dinosaur centre is. So it was good fun over there today. So how are things going for you? How is it in the world of rentals and purchases for people?
Everything is good and busy. It's still the market continues to be very hot, so houses are presented and gone in a very short period of time. But with lovely proposals for all of you to choose from.
Superb, excellent. Okay, Casa Portuguesa in the house, which is a thoroughly appropriate thing to say for this team here. Ivana, would you like to say hello as well, or are you working behind the scenes there?
No, I work with relocation too.
You're
House
here, Ivana.
hunting.
Good to see you
Yeah,
again. Good to see you. Thank you so many from EI and Casa Portuguesa. How are you, Ivana?
I'm fine. I'm
Excellent.
fine. Thanks.
Good to have you on board.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And Carl, I
oh,
also
yes,
have one last colleague here,
Yay!
Carolina Cruz from the legal department. She's a
Yes, hello,
lawyer
Carolina. Hello.
from the Lisbon office.
Okay, Carolina,
It
do you want to say hi?
is the first time here for her.
Excellent. Maybe a bit shy.
No,
Carolina,
No,
Carolina Cruz, she's
maybe
not
she
shy.
got shy,
Okay, all right. Well, just if
but
you'd
she's
like to
usually
say hi.
not shy.
Okay, all right. We shall see. We'll find out in just a moment. So, Carolina Cunha, 100 days of AIMA, of course. We're into our first 100 days. We've just reached that milestone. How do you think it's going? Anything to add? Anything that any exciting or positive to tell us about this transition?
Well, technically every day something new happens, and IMA every day releases something, and not IMA the government, but in reality we see very little of it. So we know that a few cards have already been printed and delivered to people that went to appointments from October on, but there are a few from August to October. Those people that went for that period of time are on a little bit of been weird situation, because it was a transition. It still is, but our lawyer told us they are going to process August cards this month. So yeah, there's a little delay on that. So October on, they are going slowly, but going. The other ones from that period are just now getting issued.
Amazing, isn't it? Incredible. Anything else to report?
Well, other than that, there were a little few of slots that opened this beginning of February, but they are all gone by now. They were a little bit of everything, a little bit of but it's like when you do a duplicate of the first one, but you need to change information of your card.
Yes.
And a few other Article 15, so family members of European Union citizens, and a few others, but very little slots. So in 2-3 days they were gone. So pretty much no longer anymore.
So nothing astounding or extremely positive to report. Hopefully it'll be like a building. You see these buildings, don't you? The hoardings around a building site, and it takes months for anything to appear. And then when the foundations have been built, up it comes out of the ground in a few weeks. Let's hope that IMA can be like that. So any questions you've got about visas, about moving to Portugal from that migration and legal point of view, we have a good show from EI and Casa Portuguesa this evening. As of course, if Casa Portuguesa are here, they can help you with rentals and purchasing a property here too. So taking care of business in those two areas respectively. Let's go to insurance now, to Camilla. How are you, Camilla?
Hi, hello, good evening. I'm good.
Excellent.
I'm here on Nuno's because Nuno is with no voice yet since last week.
What happened? Has he been shouting too much at the office?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, all right. So he's without a voice. Can you send him our best regards and love, of course, from the team here? Ashwell,
Yes.
you get well soon to Nuno. What's happening in the world of insurance, and how are you?
So today some clients, because of the severe weather, and there are some plenty of wordings, restrictions, and which means some losses. And we can check this for Expats Portugal members. So we just send us a copy of your insurance policy and wordings if you have, because when this weather is crazy like this, you can have some losses, and it's better if you guarantee you have the coverage corrected.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so you're happy to look at any policy wording from any company to let people know
Sure.
exactly how well or otherwise they're covered.
Yes.
Good service. And we really weren't expecting this extreme weather. There's a lot of rain, so that might mean some flooding. And I think it's quite stormy. I saw quite a lot of tree debris on the streets as well as I was driving around earlier. So there could be that sort of damage. Fingers crossed, and God forbid that doesn't happen. But should it happen to you and you want to check your cover, a very kind offer there from Winsurance, and all the details, right, Camilla, on the screen there. I am safe at winsurance.pt if people want to get in touch with you by email. Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much, Camilla, for being here. Any questions about insurance, we can put those through to Camilla. We also have from the world of law, Daniel Reyes. How are you, Daniel?
Hello, hello. Directly from the Azorian Islands today.
Seriously?
Yeah. RP, my firm, we did a deed today representing a client in Terceira. So I decided to travel back to the other island where I have my boat, and I'm doing the live from the boat now. So
how exciting!
If things do sound a bit windy, it's because there's a lot of wind outside. Well, it's the same in Lisbon, as you probably perceived.
Yeah.
And I've got some pictures out of my house. One of the blinds, external blinds, it was blown away from the wind. So I will probably need some insurance cover or to check my insurance to see
You know
if it
what to
covers
do.
those damages.
You know
I
what
know
to
what to
do.
do. I know what to do.
First call tomorrow morning, perhaps, Camilla.
Oh yeah.
Daniel from the Azores there. Well, any excuse, any reason to go to the Azores, I'm sure you're very happy to do so. And thanks for joining us from there, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything to report from the world of law or politics at the moment? The electoral debates have started on TV, haven't they?
Yeah, I haven't had the time yet to have a proper look at them, so I have no clue. To be honest, I still need probably this weekend. I will have some time to hear the debates, but for the time being, unfortunately, I have no contribution to put forward.
Okay. And one of the islands, though, has had a recent election, has it not? Is that right?
It was Açores. It was the islands of Açores. The center right-wing parties they won the elections again, and they will form a coalition to have a new government. So indeed, it's sorted out here in the Azores, and it will continue the same guys that were in power for the time being. So that's a development, yeah.
All right, which might be useful to you if you're thinking of moving to the, however you say it, Azores, as a lot of people in America say, or the Azores if you're British, all those different ways of pronouncing it. But I think we
Or
know
in Portuguese, Açores. It's
Azores.
pronounced with the C. Yeah.
With the C, with the cedilla there, Azores, where lots
Yeah.
of the finest butter in the world comes from, I have you know. Okay,
And
excellent
cheese.
stuff. Butter and cheese, excellent. Jerry also here from the team of Expats Portugal. So Jerry will be available to answer questions as well, and we'll be working behind the scenes. Good evening to you, Jerry. So let's say a few hellos and see what's happening with the questions. We've got S in Los Angeles. Alex, thanks to amazing help. Here's some great news to celebrate. Thanks to amazing help from Carolina and Claudia, we got the NHR. So well done. Good for you, Alex, and well done, team. Tom Smith, greetings from Ohio, where it is a very Lisbon-like 17 degrees, but unlike Lisbon, it's sunny. Yes, okay. You get to gloat today, Tom. And Tom once told a joke in a Zoom meeting, but no one laughed. It turned out I'm not remotely funny. See what you did there? Thank you very much, Tom. And hi to Carolina. I emailed you a few hours ago. Donovan in Los Angeles is looking forward to working with you. Carolina, that could be Carolina Cunha or Moralia this evening. Thaisa Kira is here. And Peda in Wales as well, where it's probably cold and wet and windy too. I think that's probably a fairly safe bet at this time of year and a guess. Richard then has the first question. I had my CEF appointment on August the 14th in Portimao, 178 days ago. I've not received my resident card. Any suggestions? There is an email, but just an auto reply, no help. Is there a better number or email to check on my status? Asked Richard. That's probably going to go for you, Carolina Cunha.
Yes, the best way is to ask in person. So you can either hire us to do it for you, and you just sign a power of attorney, and not me, but one of our lawyers would do it for you, and probably get a grasp of the status, because sometimes they give a little bit more information on why it's delayed. Sometimes they just say it's delayed, it is what it is, but sometimes the other times they say it is missing this document and that document, and it's good so that you can handle them, add them, and expedite things.
Excellent. Good to know. Okay, there you go. That's for you, Richard.
I have a follow-up. I was just going to ask, is this a common delay right now? The algo?
For the issuance of the residence permits?
Specifically in the Algarve, you're asking, right, Richard?
The whole country, yeah.
Okay.
When did you went?
August 14th, 178 days ago.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard in the beginning, but they are just now processing the August.
Yeah.
So
okay.
probably
nothing to worry about.
A month more. I don't know.
Then I'll call you. right.
Yes.
Okay,
better,
Richard.
better.
Fingers crossed for you, Bossort, from here on the Silver Coast to you, Richard. Hope you hear something soon. Anything else we can do for you?
No, thank you.
Okay, thanks for being here this evening. Okay, Thaisa has a question. This probably for you as well, Carolina. Hola, boa noite from Lagos at the moment. Quick question. If we got tax residency in December 23, but we planned ahead and did not have income worldwide for that month, do we still have to file a Portugal tax return for 2023? Carolina.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it depends.
It's a yes. Right. Okay.
It's
Oh,
yes.
thank you. All right.
Because even though you have to declare it because you started to be a tax resident. So
Yeah.
even if you declare zero, but you need to fill out the forms and do all that for your taxes. Just keep in mind, I don't know if I know she didn't ask, but I'm just gonna add it. If you got your tax residency in December 2023, you have until March 2024 to get the NHR. So I don't know if you are looking into that or not. I think it's impossible not to be aware of that. But keep that timing in mind.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, Carolina. We have a question about citizenship, I think, nationality here from a Zoom user. I'll come back to your question, Tom, in a little while, because it's an interesting one culturally. We've got Darren, Bilal, Squire of the Shires, OLP, and Vicky over on Zoom. Sorry, on YouTube. I will come back to you, and a question from Gail as well. So thanks for all of those questions this evening and shout outs. Probably for you, Daniel. Hello. In application of Portuguese nationality, I see país or países nacionalidad, country or countries of nationality. So I need to list all of my citizenships, but no need to add copies of all passports, only the main passport. Thank you. A similar question last week, right, Daniel?
Yeah, my advice is only list your main passport. Because otherwise, what will happen is that the Portuguese registries may request the criminal record out of your other nationalities, even if you didn't live there for more than a year. And then you get into a debate with them if you need to deliver the criminal records or not. So basically, the advice that I have on this one is, of course, the main country that the nationality, that person has the nationality should be delivered, and eventually even a full copy out of the passport, a notarized full copy out of the passport. For the other nationalities, the answer is it depends. It depends if the person lived there for more than a year or not. If it lived for more than a year, they should be declared, and the criminal record should be added to the application. If the person has a secondary nationality but never lived in that secondary country for more than a year, my advice is don't put it, because it will just create more possibility of error and possibility of notifications to obtain more documents from the registry. So if it's not essential to be there, then don't disclose it. Don't put it in the forms.
Go for your main nationality, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But the answer is, it depends if the person lived for more than a year in the country or not. If it did, then you should disclose it, and the criminal record should indeed be added to the application of that secondary nationality.
All right, thanks, Daniel. Staying with you, because there was an interesting question from Tom. We will get to all your other questions tonight. Don't worry, at least the ones that are in so far. So keep bringing them to the chat in Zoom and over on YouTube. Tom asked the question: I saw that the Sporting Famalicão Primeira Liga and Porto Santa Clara Taça de Portugal matches were postponed. What happened? Now, this was in relation to the police officers. Taking a form of industrial action, or actually phoning in sick, was how they did it, right? What's going on at the moment? What have we got on our hands here, Daniel?
Well, the military and the police forces, they cannot legally do strikes. It's just an imposition from the law. So they were clever about what they've done. And instead of going on a strike, they went to the doctors. They probably said that they were having some tummy ache, or they were feeling very tired and they needed to rest. And the doctors did issue some medical leave, and they delivered the medical leave just before the game started. So the people leading the police forces, they were not able to plan ahead and to just divert the situation and hire new agents. So they're trying to do some form of industrial action, as you clearly said. But the downside of this is the following. the government now only has managerial powers. So they cannot do anything. They cannot create new expense. So at the end of the day, they are protesting, but they won't reach a lot of goals because the government cannot put more money on the table.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, I guess so. So you might ask, well, why are they doing it? I guess they want to show some sort of a sign of protest, and as I understand it, it's the two policing forces of the GNR and the PSP who are looking for similar and better conditions to the judicial police, the PJ. Is that
Correct.
the strength of it?
So basically, we have more than that, but the main three ones are three different polices. It's the one that you did mention, Polícia Judiciária. This is the police that does investigation of serious crimes. Then you have the PSP. This is the police for urban areas, and the GNR, the police for rural areas. And what happened was that the government did provide a type of a supplement to the judiciary police, and the other polices did felt discriminated. This is a risk, just because of the risk that they incur as being polices. And they said, well, we're doing the same type of job. We are even facing more risks than the judiciary police because we are in the streets, beating the streets every day. So we do face real criminals on a day-to-day basis. And the judiciary police, well, they usually don't need, they carry guns, but they usually don't need to enforce or use force. So the risk of the judiciary police is indeed lower than the other polices. So they were quite upset about the situation, and therefore they started this protest. But there's no way to circumvent this at the current moment, at least I think. So the end result is not going to be great. It's just because the government will not be allowed to put more money on the table. That's
Very
basically
interesting. Very interesting. And in this same week, we have the farmers who are mobilizing to support their comrades elsewhere in Europe. I think the prison officers are also supporting the police. So quite interesting from that point of view at the moment, but not a great deal that can be done about it until we've got a functional government, as you're pointing out.
Well, the farmers were actually, this is contagion from the farmers in France. So it had a knock-on effect on what happened in France. And the other situation, well, the government, they are at fault on what happened. Basically, in Europe, the agricultural does survive with a lot of subsidies from the governments. And what the actual government did at the current moment, they cut the subsidies in 35% without any type of wording. So let's say that the farmers were quite upset on this topic, and they were right to rightly so, because they were not expecting this was not announced, and then the government did revert the measure, so it was unnecessary. What's happening at the current moment with the farmers was really unnecessary, and it was a bad management.
Okay, interesting times in society and politically at the moment.
Yeah.
So let's get back to these questions that are coming in. Thank you in the Zoom chat and over on YouTube. We have one from, thank you, Daniel. You've dealt with that passport and nationality issue. Gail, good evening to you. If I apply for my D7 visa at the Vancouver consulate, I think this is for you, Carolina, can I leave a duplicate passport and have them send it with the D7 visa stamp to the Portuguese consulate in London for me to pick up? That's interesting. That's a kind of visa hack there. Would that work?
No.
Oh dear. Okay. Sorry,
No,
Gail.
they cannot be. I don't know what does she mean with the duplicate passport? Does she has two?
Sounds like. Yeah, not many
but-
people have that, do they? Unless they're an international spy. I mean, I'm not saying you are, Gail, but that does.
You are
that does-
allowed, in Canada, you're
Yeah.
allowed to apply for a duplicate passport. If you're gonna have to travel and there's things like visas or it's being held up, you can have a duplicate
Hey.
passport.
Very good. Okay, so Carolina, what can
Right.
in that instance,
Yeah.
what can happen?
But no,
The big thing is, can I get it sent to London
no,
so I don't have to fly back to Canada to pick it up?
no, they don't send visas anywhere. No, the max that they do is like in the US, where you mail them the passport, they stamp it, and then they mail it back, but it's always inside the country. But
Right.
in this case, Vancouver, they don't even want you to leave the passport there. You keep the passport, both of them, and when
Oh,
it's
okay.
ready, they let you know, and you come by to pick it up.
Come by, so get on a plane and fly from Calgary to Vancouver. So I have to do that twice, because Vancouver, the only way you can apply basically is show up in person. So I have to fly out for that one first, have my appointment, then I have to fly back to Vancouver to pick up my passport. I was trying to find a way around this, because
I
I
can
thought maybe they
understand now
could
you
put
put
it
it
in
like
their,
that. Yes, now you put
in
it like
their
that, Gail. I can
inter,
understand why you're trying to find a way
I
around.
know, I hear you, and I'm listening. It sounds crazy, but it's real.
and
Oh,
they won't even,
sorry,
so
Gail.
they won't even mail it after your appointment. If you send a courier, leave a courier envelope, I mean, I love Vancouver,
Yes.
but that being said, to
Yeah.
fly to pick up and fly right back out or whatever, just makes no sense to me, but okay. I thought I found a hack.
I thought you
Okay.
had as well, Gail. I was really rooting for you there, but sadly not. Good
Because I
thinking.
want, if I have an apartment rented, I'd like to come to Portugal
Of
and
course.
stay in the apartment.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally understand. Sorry, there's not better
Most
news.
people do that. They apply for the visa, and while it is marinating, they come to Portugal, enjoy their paid rent because they are paying for it at the end of the day. And then when it's issued, the consulate lets them know via email, and they fly back, get it stamped, and come back.
Incredible. Incredible. Good thinking,
just a
Gail.
big difference between flying from Canada back twice. Okay,
Yeah.
fair
Well,
enough.
you came close there, Gail, to some sort of hack or solution there. Sorry, it's not a better outcome on that. But very
well.
sensible and Canadian to have two passports. That's very civilized and
Yeah,
intelligent.
well, we have our moments.
Yeah, right. And that's one of them, but not helping in this particular
Yeah,
instance. sadly.
Portuguese could never. It would be one more passport to lose. So
It's not going to be happening here. Okay, even after 5 years. Right. So Debbie Bradford,
Thanks.
thanks, Gail. Greetings from South Florida. I go to VFS in DC 2 weeks from today. Nice one, Debbie. I'm almost done with all my requirements, including I'm getting MGen through insurance. Good work. I'm getting the necessary travel insurance on my own and just wondering if I need an annual travel insurance policy or one that is just good until my MGen insurance kicks in. How would you respond to that, Camilla, for Debbie there?
Hi, Debbie. So it depends. I believe Carolina can give you more information about that because it depends the VSF requirements.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So
Yes.
we're talking about
So,
DC there.
Carolina.
Thanks, Camilla.
Yeah, in this case, VFS Washington DC only requires the minimum amount, which is only 4 months. So if Debbie wants to do more, she can, but she doesn't have to. So what I recommend is that the person buys the insurance for 2 months, beginning 2 months after the appointment date, for 4 months ahead, and then because usually that will touch on the 4 months that their visa will have, or not, but usually that's the calculations. And then later, when they come to Portugal, then they buy the health insurance for a year.
Okay, Debbie, there you go. Thank you very much, both to you, Camilla and Carolina there. Of course, Camilla can help with the policies themselves, and that's the sequencing you need, Debbie, as outlined by Carolina there. Donovan, you're in LA. I'm coming to Portugal for the first time on March the 1st, just starting out the process of moving there. Is there anything I can do now so that when I get to Porto, I can take care of it without having to make another trip? And that's, I mean, going back to the same issue with Gail, really, isn't it, Carolina?
No, I think Donovan is asking if he can take advantage of coming to Portugal for doing something.
Okay.
If I understood correctly, if it is like what I thought, I would suggest that while you are here, you take care of the opening the Portuguese bank account if you are applying for a D7.
Yep.
And prior to opening a bank account, you have to have gotten prior your NIF. that can be done remotely. I actually suggest that you do it from the US. You get your NIF because sometimes it takes more time than one thinks. And when you arrive, you just go to the bank, open it. It takes like an hour of your day and it's done. And all that you could have done in Portugal, it's settled.
Yeah, and when you get asked for your NIF or contribuent, you'll feel very proud of yourself that you've arrived with it, Donovan, and written it down. And even in a supermarket, even though you might not need to give it for any advantageous reason or any advantage, you can feel proud alongside other Portuguese people giving their contribuent at the checkout there. So there you go, Donovan, NIF and bank account. Thanks, Richard, helping as well in the background there in the chat. UK allows duplicate passports for people who travel a lot as well. That's good to know, Glenn. Didn't realize that. Weekend in Vancouver, says Glenn. It sounds like a movie. It does, doesn't it? But don't really want to be there. As much as Gail likes Vancouver, but not for that particular reason there. Maybe you can have the passport sent to someone in Canada and have that person send it on to you. That's not going to work either, is it? That suggestion from Rebecca there, Carolina?
Well, I don't know, Marianne, what do you think?
Well, a proxy for going to pick up, or a power of attorney, is that possible?
Normally, the consulate only allows the person to collect the visa, okay? There are some consulates that allow family members to collect the visa, but that's something you need to ask them, okay? Because they not always allow someone else to collect the visa for you.
Oh, so on Gail's first visit, it might be possible to say, can I have a relative come do the second visit?
But I believe in Canada, normally they don't allow that, okay?
Right. And do you have a
In
cousin in
Canada.
Do you have a cousin in Vancouver?
I have, yes, but
Okay.
it sounds
Hi,
like
Gail.
I
Yeah.
have to go back
Yes.
and be in person in Vancouver. Like
Okay.
everything has to be done in person.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
I think it's a tourism trap, but
could be, couldn't it? The Vancouver tourist board just won't let you go on that. Yeah, no, fair enough. That makes
the
sense.
BC economy.
Yeah.
Just keep in
Okay,
mind.
well, hey,
Okay. Glimmer of
Yeah.
hope, but that's dashed again there. So it's going to be you, I think, there, Gail. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to add something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even if they allow your cousin to get it for you, which we don't know if it would work, but if you tried, he cannot just send you the passport to Portugal because you need to have an entry stamp.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I was thinking sending it to London outside the EU.
Oh,
So
Gail.
that I could
Oh,
come
you
in.
thought
Hey,
about
I
it.
was,
Yes,
I was.
absolutely. Brilliant. Brilliant. Maybe a part-time job at EI when you get here, thinking like that. That's amazing. Well done, Gail. But sadly not. Keep working on it. Keep working on it. Who knows what might happen with that. And
Things
they
can change.
Donovan, I hope that helped with you as well. And thank you for your suggestion there, Rebecca, to Gail. Going back to you, Daniel, for Zoom user. Thank you very much. I have a main passport, which I live with, and another nationality passport, which I've never been in that country. Means in the application of Portuguese nationality, in field country or countries of nationality, I fill out only one main passport. And is it not mandatory to fill out all nationalities? Well, that's a supplementary question there, and a bit of a clarification on that could be useful, Daniel.
It's the same answer. If the applicant has not lived in the country for more than a year, he doesn't need to provide the criminal record. So, but if he discloses the secondary nationality, you will need to provide the criminal record. This is a given. We've tried this before.
Okay.
So it's the choice of the applicant. If I was submitting the application and if that person did not live in a country for more than a year, I would not disclose that secondary nationality just because of this criminal record situation. That's the reason why.
There you go. So referring you to the earlier answer and that clarification there. And if the more you tell, the more possible bureaucracy you might entail for yourself there.
I said this before in the show several times. Don't ask, don't tell.
Yep.
Don't tell, they won't ask. It's the opposite.
Makes complete sense.
And regarding the double passport, just to add something on that, it's possible in Portuguese law as well. My brother traveled a lot for work purposes, and you need to justify it. Basically, you need to file a petition and justify the reason why you're having two passports. But it's possible if for a person that travels a lot and needs the passport to work, to have a double passport. So it's not common. It's an exceptional measure, at least here in Portugal, but it's indeed possible and foreseen in the law. It's an exceptional situation, but I have a personal example, my brother, that does indeed have two Portuguese passports, valid at this.
Okay,
Yeah.
a lesser known fact, and it is possible in exceptional circumstances, and a possible money spinner as well. I don't know if the Portuguese government's thought about that. If I apply, thanks Daniel for that, and thanks Zoom for asking that question for further clarification there. If I apply, D7 this is, says S, with my children 2 to 3 months before my husband, how do they look at financials when he applies? Does he need to qualify for him alone or for him, me and our children, as far as passive income goes? Also, would he be able to use our accommodations for proof of housing if I was already 2 to 3 months into the rental contract? So that's a different scheduling within the family there, Carolina. How does that work on the D7?
So it quite depends on their documents, but on general speaking, when the mother applies with the two minors, their process needs to already be enough for her to be able to bring them. So she already needs to have a main applicant process, so a D7 one, and able to also carry the kids' minimums on top of hers. Then when the father applies later, for all effects, is an alone person applying.
Oh, right.
So it's a separate processed alone, because their family is already there. He can mention it on the application, but they will not be looking into that for his visa application, because he's not submitting his documents at that moment. So only himself.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. There you go, S. I hope that helps. If you need to know anything else, let us know in the chat over here on Zoom. Debbie is happy. Carolina, that's awesome. Thanks. And I'll be getting with insurance about MGen as soon as I have my Portuguese mailing address. I have my apartment location, but not the mailing address yet. That's fantastic, Camilla. Really to help you there. Debbie, Thaisa, I'm here for over 3 months with my EU husband who has residency, but I have to get back to the US before I get the IMA appointment for my residency on family reunification. Will I have trouble coming back 4 to 6 weeks later, Carolina, as I've not been able to get my IMA appointment within the first 3 months here?
Well, so the person has or doesn't have the appointment.
Yeah, let me just read through that again. And Taysa, you might want to shout out or add something into the chat. I'm here for over 3 months with my EU husband who has residency, but I have to get back to the US before I get the IMA appointment for my residency on family reunification. Will I have trouble coming back 4 to 6 weeks later, as I've not been able to get my IMA appointment in the first 3 months? Yeah, traveling before that
I
first
got
appointment.
it.
Yeah.
So technically,
Yeah, so I'm here.
yeah.
Oh, I was just going to clarify. So yeah, so we've been here since December, and I've been calling, and I have people calling to try to get an appointment. I can't get one, but I have to get back to the US. I have a graduation and all this stuff we have to do, and then I want to come back. But I'm afraid that without any appointment, I don't even know the timing of coming back or going. It's all still very open, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get stuck not being able to come into the country without even an appointment, although my husband has residency here as an EU citizen.
Wow, what a situation. Okay, what do you say, Carolina?
Technically, for every 3 months you spend in Portugal, you need to spend 6 months in your origin, in the place of your residency. In this case, probably your nationality country. So technically, you should be staying 6 months back. Are you an American citizen?
Yes.
Well, from all nationalities, that is the one that I see, that and the British is the one that I see less problems entering and living and coming in for border control and all that. But I can't speak more further on that. It's just legally you should be staying 6 months in the US, so then you can then come again 3 more months, because until you have your appointment or the actual permit, you don't have with you the rights of being a European Union spouse. So yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? So, but Thaisa, presumably you want to come back before 60 days is up. You don't want us to have to stay out of the country and come again as a tourist again.
Yeah, well, she's saying I have to stay away six months. Is
Yeah,
it?
6 months.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. Yeah, 6
Yeah,
months. Yeah.
so I just wanted to be away for a month or a bit just to finish up things.
Right. Okay, you're breaking up a bit on there on
So
Zoom.
the problem is that, like, oh, sorry.
No, it's
Can you
okay. We
hear me?
just couldn't hear you. But if I can summarize it as I understand it, if Thaisa were to come back before the 6 months was up, Carolina, and had copies of all her paperwork, to show that the reunification process is they're trying to make that happen, but they haven't been able to get an appointment. Obviously, you can't say what's going to happen at the border point, but do you think that would be worth trying?
But she has no documents to present because she doesn't have an appointment.
Of course, only a
So
paper
it's
trail, copies of emails and that sort of thing, presumably. And that's not
no, but emails don't work because Seth does not reply to emails. And she needs to be in the country to book the appointment,
I
because
see.
even if Thaisa is in the US when the Article 15 slots open,
Yeah,
the clerk, when you call Seth, not Seth, Ima,
yeah,
they will ask on what date did Thaisa entered,
yes.
and if she's not here, you don't have an official date to give.
Okay.
Yeah. Does your husband already have his crew?
He has the residency as an Irish citizen in the EU, so he has
Yeah,
he
the
hasn't
piece
got
of paper.
He has the
Oh,
piece of paper with the stars, but not the card yet.
Yeah, no, yeah, the piece of paper is enough. They will ask for the number of his piece of paper and the date of your entry. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Thaisa, for that. Sorry, it's not better news, and good luck with all of that, obviously. And I'm guessing you're phoning every day to try and make an appointment happen there. So good luck with that. Peder, there's a reminder to who was it who was coming on the 1st of March? It may well have been Donovan, to wear your daffodil. They don't actually celebrate St. David's Day here in Portugal, as far as I'm aware, Peder, but nice try there. And thanks everybody, Glenn, LaRonda, for trying to help, Gail as well here. Zoom user, grateful to you, Daniel. Thank you very much. I divorced a few times for the application for, here's another aspect of this then. I divorced a few times. For the application for Portuguese nationality, do I need to provide apostille birth certificates of all my ex-wives or only my last ex-wife?
It's worse than that.
Oh no. Right.
I am the bearer of bad news.
Oh, Zoom music was going so well.
So if you are Portuguese, yes, Portuguese, and wants to apply for the nationality, may you please
Yeah, Zoom user. So do we assume resident converting to nationality? Is that the question? Let's see.
I'll explain why. There's a reason for this. For Portuguese citizens, in Portuguese citizens that were born abroad, let's say in the US, but they have double nationality, Portuguese and US nationality, and then they want to pass on the nationality for the kids. So they haven't touched base with Portugal for quite a long time, and they've married, divorced, married, divorced, married, divorced. What happens is that they need to register all the marriages in Portugal and then all the divorces and sequence. So let's say that you have never registered one of even the first marriage. So you start by registering the first marriage, then you go to court because it's not an administrative situation, it's a court situation. And you go to court and the procedure is called acknowledgement of foreign decision. Basically, you go to the secondary tier of courts and they acknowledge the decision here. Afterwards, you register the second marriage. And then you go to court again to register the second divorce, and so on and so forth. And usually the people dread the following, because this is one of the questions that we usually ask the clients is, well, do you have contact with your ex-spouse? And then things start to get shaky because people don't want to contact, usually they don't want to contact the ex-spouses, but the process is really way faster if we contact the ex-spouses, because the court will try to notify the ex-spouses nonetheless. They will send a notification, and then if we don't do something preventively, the process takes quite a long more time. So it's cumbersome.
Yeah.
So indeed, for Portuguese citizens, there's the obligation of registering all the marriages and the divorces that person had in their life, and this can be cumbersome. It can take a bit of time. For 3 marriages and divorces, I would say total of around 2 years to have it all done.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah.
So let's say 3 months for a divorce, 4 months for, I'm sorry, 3 months for a marriage and 4 months for a divorce. So 7 months for each one of the rounds. Yeah.
My goodness. And the phrase that comes to mind is they're called X for a reason. And that,
That's
and
it.
you know, you might not be in touch anymore, right? So that,
Correct.
but hopefully, if you are in touch, that's going to make it a lot easier for you,
Yes.
Zoom user. You don't
We
say how
usually do the touch base instead of the client. We say, well, hello, we are representing this ex-husband of yours. We just want to register the divorce here in Portugal. We explain the full procedure, and usually things go smoothly. Sometimes they don't, but we try to run it as smooth as possible.
My goodness, another reason to stay on good terms with people, right?
Yes.
So good luck with that. Good luck with that, Zoom user. Really, fingers crossed. And to be fair to you, put a little smiley face at the end of your message there. So good on you. Donovan, is there a website I can apply for my NIF online? Probably best to do that with EI. They'll take care of that for you. That's what I would recommend to you. And it will cost you something. By the way, what a fantastic service Expats Portugal is. Thank you very much for that, Donovan. We'll take that feedback there. And Darren says, anyway, when you come to Portugal, there's a really good quote from Darren here, something about don't ruin your holiday with a day of admin. So that's another good reason to let EI take care of that and your bank account as well. And you can just enjoy your time when you're in Porto. So thank you very much, Darren, for that, who's over on YouTube. So let's pop over there. Oh, one more on Zoom. Continue with my previous question. Is it possible that our overall threshold for passive income would be lower if my husband joined us later? We have joint accounts. Would they factor in subtracting what I needed for passive income with my 3 children? Or is that passive income might be counted twice since we didn't apply together at the same time? I'm confused. I suspect you're not, though, Carolina, with that.
Well, in that case, I would need to look at the documents and assess, because we need to look at the source.
Yep.
And if all the sources are joint, we would need to argue about it, because technically it depends on their marriage.
Yeah.
So, but most American marriages are the ones that everything is from the both. And we would need to, if it was from the both, the income was all shared, we would need to split it. Well, I would need to look at it. I don't want to give like...
Fair enough. So you need to crunch the numbers on that. I mean, S does say all joint except retirement, but it sounds like it might be useful to go through that on the phone to get really clear on that, because we've gone into some long grass on that one, S. But thank you for your question.
We could just apply all of you together and just say a later date for the husband. Because when you apply, you can say that you want to come up to 6 months ahead. So that is the maximum amount of time that you can say that you want to be in Portugal. So we can try and give a few dates for the 3 of them and the later one for the husband, but the consulate might not respect it and might issue a visa for each one of them with all the same dates, because sometimes they don't care. So we would see, but I would need to look at the proper documents.
Okay, S is saying thank you. So you can expect a call and some contact from S there. And Peda adding to this the situation as articulated by a Zoom user there, or a different aspect, but inspired to ask this question. What if you're not married to the child's mother here, Daniel? Does that mean you cannot pass on your Portuguese nationality to your child? Can it be common law relationship, or does it have to be marriage to pass on those rights?
No, basically you can pass on the nationality. The process is a bit more nuanced because when there's a marriage, the child that is raised from the marriage, it's basically presumed that the father is the person that is in the marriage, and the mother is, of course, the person that gave birth. So there's what we call in the law here a presumption of fatherhood when someone is married. When the person is not married, and the person that declared the birth was the mother, then the father will need to step in inside a few more documents. So the process is a bit more nuanced, but it's possible as well, and the nationality is passed on. That's not a problematic, as long as the father can sign documents stating that, yes, he indeed is the father.
Good point. That may well help others. I'm not sure if that's for you specifically, Peter, but thank you for asking that. That's a nice illustration from Daniel as well. So thanks, Daniel. Vicky Benoit from a rainy Lisbon, as we've said before. I was swimming in the sea last week, and now I'm swimming in my garden. I tell you, with all this rain in the Silver Coast this week, is it correct, says the OLP, that ETIAS is postponed until 2025? So Carolina, this ETIAS thing, I mean, I don't know, is it IMA that's working on border control within the EU for this, the Schengen project? Haven't they got enough on their hands without having to implement the ETIAS as well?
They are overwhelmed on all fronts.
Yes.
So like they say they do things, but we don't see much happening. So technically,
very possibly postponed, right? Because the EU will themselves, centrally, federally, will want to have this happen. This is a project of the EU-wide scope, isn't it? The ETIAS system, where you're going to have a paperwork to come into the area. But you think it might be postponed until 2025 just because of the sheer amount of work as Portugal pushes back and says, look, we just can't take this on as well right now.
Well, usually Portugal accepts things, but then does not go through with them. So
okay. So at the EU meeting, yeah, fine, we'll do it, and then they just don't do it anyway.
Yeah, we have a long-standing history of that.
Yes.
I see Daniel laughing. I think he agrees with me because we don't have the courage to say no, we won't. We just say, oh yeah,
That's right.
of course.
A bazooka...
The others are doing it, okay, so we will. But
and
then we don't.
Payment. That's right. The next bazooka payment might depend on it. So yeah, we'll say yes on that. So okay, fair enough. Very interesting. And of course, yeah, we will stop taxing cars one day as well. Okay. Squire of the Shires, -3 in the UK, and snow on the ground. My goodness, that's a weather report right there. My appointment is for the 29th of February 24 to renew my residence permit. So do you think it will take more than 2 months to receive the new resident permit? Asks Bilal. What would you say? Do you need more information on that one, Carolina?
Residence permits renewals.
Yeah.
It's not really my thing. Marianne, do you know this answer?
The question was, yeah, my appointment is for 29th of February 2024 to renew the residence permit. Do you think it will take more than 2 months to receive the permit itself? That sounds like somebody who's worried about traveling and needing the permit, right? 2 months? What do you think?
Yeah, I believe it will take between 2 and 3 months at least.
Okay, Bilal. So probably longer than that. Thanks, Marianne.
Yeah.
I'm speeding things up because we've only got about 6 minutes to go. I'm not sure we'll have a time for a cultural question. Although I do have one question for you, which I will reveal in just a little while, but try and get through a few more of these questions here. Darren, when are we able to submit the declaration for 23? Are you talking about your tax return there? Keen to file a tax return. When is that done here in Portugal, Carolina?
I think it's until April.
Yep. Okay.
I don't know.
As I understand
it starts in April, I think. In April until June.
June.
Okay. You can tell who's on
It's usually
PAYE.
April until June.
Yeah, okay. So
Okay,
April,
yeah.
there you go, Darren. I hope that helps you. I have no question, but I'm completing 60 business days for my D2 visa approval on the 20th of February. Waiting is the worst bit. And I think you can appreciate that, Carolina, and everybody from EI. The waiting is the difficult part, right? And you must have calls all day long from people. Any news? Can you help? And that is that's the tough part of this, isn't it? It is a waiting game.
Yes, it is. And I always warn people, and when the time comes, oh, I'm worried, I'm waiting for 60 days. And I'm like, did you count it business days? Which is around 3 months. So
The Now has done that. They've put that in their statement here. They've made an emphasis on business days.
yeah, and keep an eye on Portuguese holidays. So you think you are almost near the 60 days, but well, for example, next week we have the Carnival, which technically it's not a
my big
holiday.
question. That's my big question. I'm going to come back to that because we need to know how that's going to affect people working or not, as the case may be in Portugal, as our final thing. So stay tuned for that, folks. But now, no, you're absolutely right. Waiting is the worst. CanaQuest. Hi all, I'm a golden visa holder. How can I renew my son's resident permit that expired 3 years ago, provided I cannot book an appointment on the portal? Yeah, problem there. Wanting to renew a son's expired status 3 years ago. Daniel, how to do that?
Well, I don't know if I'll have good news or not. That will need to be basically you'll need to approach SEF on this one. Because, well, SEF has issued the government has issued the decrees extending the life of the residency permits. So probably it may still be salvaged, but that we'll need to have a look into that. We were able to renew our clients' residency cards, Golden Visa clients' residency cards online. So drop us an email, approach us. We'll try to assist you on that. But because so many 3 years have already elapsed, we may face some issues on the automatic renewal. But drop us an email and we'll try to assist.
There you go. Some help is possible there, but yeah, they're going to need some, I guess, some interesting mitigation, aren't they, on a lapse of that kind there. So thank you, Daniel, very much for that. Thais is saying, muito obrigado to all of you who spend your free time on Thursday night every week to help us with these questions. Truly much appreciated. Thank you for saying that, Thais. Is CPLP back on from Glenn? Last time I checked on IMA site, it was stopped. Can you help with that, Carolina? CPLP?
I don't know. I'm the expert on a D7 and D8 visas.
Okay.
So CPLP is outside of my I don't know if my colleagues have any idea
Mine
on
too.
that. But the European Union does not like that visa. So
what is the CPLP? Can you just explain to us?
it's for the Portuguese speaking language
yes.
countries.
Yep. Okay.
So it's like a easier visa.
Yep.
But it was against when Portugal enters the European Union, they say they are going to comply with the rules. But then Portugal does things like that like approving the CPLP visa, which goes against a lot of material that they agreed before.
Yes, as you said.
So the European Union gets mad because they are not complying. So they stopped it. So I don't know if it is back on or not, but yeah.
Okay. So tricky there, Glenn. Sorry, can't be more helpful with that. And the other thing to do with that, I mean, you say, Glenn, that you've checked on the IMA site and it was stopped. There's another aspect of people trying to get online with some wonky technology. The Brexit portal, I've heard in the last few days, you click buttons on that and it just keeps coming back to the homepage. Can you advise? I know you said D7s, D8s for you, Carolina, but can you advise at all on the Brexit portal on what's happening with that, or any of your colleagues?
I think Marianne might be able, because she's also a lawyer and she also handles residence permits.
We're probably looking for a computer expert here with that one, but I think the buttons are just dead on that. Have you heard anything on that, Marianne, on the Brexit portal?
Oh, because IMA is changing lots of systems, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, lots of them are off, okay? So you cannot access them. because they
Okay.
are changing things, okay? But for example, today I'm put much more information in their websites, so I believe they are updating everything. So
Okay, very
yeah,
interesting. So
you need to wait a little bit, okay?
okay, so you can tell when it's like good news and bad news, isn't it? The bad news is the front end of the website isn't working, but the good news is that might mean they're doing things at the back end to improve it. So let's
I hope
go with
so.
that. Let's go with that. Fingers crossed for the time being. We've got
Yes.
well, we're up to time here. Just very quickly, Peder, what is the Brexit portal? It was the way for people who came to Portugal, British people who came to Portugal before Brexit, to change their status in accordance with the relationship between the Portuguese and British government and get a card called the WABC card. Just that very quick question then. We haven't got time to ask all the panelists. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. But you mentioned, Carolina, if you could maybe take this on behalf of everybody else, it is Carnival. It's starting tomorrow, really, isn't it, across Portugal? Is it or isn't it a public holiday? Will you be having time off next week? I guess is another way of answering it.
Well, technically, it is not a bank holiday, but the government gives the public workers the day. It's, I don't know how to say in English, but it's given, but it's not, the government was not obliged to do it. So some private companies follow along and also give it to their employees, which was the case of our lovely company that gave us the Tuesday. So thank you, Gilda.
Yes, excellent. But some other companies are saying the government might have given it to you, but we're not. So others may well be working. So well done, Gilda. Excellent. Your fine team do deserve a day off from time to time. So it sounds like it's Tuesday. So you'll be taking a well-earned break on Tuesday, right? To celebrate Carnival. Whether or not you celebrate it specifically, you're having a well-earned day off. Thank you very much, all of the Dream Team tonight. Let me just put this to you. Thanks, Dream Team, says LaRonda. Lots of great information as usual. Very much appreciated. And from Debbie, yet another fantastic Dream Team meeting. I've learned so much over the months I've been attending. So glad to hear that, Debbie. And Jerry saying, you might want to say this yourself, Jerry, and let us know perhaps what's happening next week. Your request there that people might put these comments on the review section of the website.
Yes, we love reviews, so please feel free. You can find the members review section on our website, and anything you care to mention about our Dream Team people, we will very gladly pass on to them. So please feel free to do that. I'm not 100%. I'm not up to 100% up to speed, so I have to now go to Astrid to ask her about next week.
Thanks, Jerry. Next week, we have our friends from Spartan FX coming on board to discuss the best ways to transfer money from the USA to Portugal. So it is quite an exclusive event for our friends over in the USA, or those who are already here. So it's about how to send your money to get the best deal and the safest options.
Fantastic. Jerry, by the way, saying there, it's not a holiday in expats, Portugal. It might be a holiday in Portugal.
We'll be here tomorrow working our socks off for all of you.
And Monday and Tuesday as well. And taking emails all over the weekend. Nice one, Jerry.
Yes.
All the best, folks. Thanks. Have a good one, says Glenn. So thank you to Carolina and Marianne and Ivana and Camilla and Daniel tonight. Thank you also very much for being here, and enjoy your break if you're having one next week. And we'll see you for a Dream Team session next Thursday evening at 9 o'clock. Great job.